Hello everyone, ohayo gozaimasu. Welcome to Ohio Anime. Irashaimase. My name is John, and we're back to talk about anime and manga. We have with us today Phil. How's it going? You're looking ghostly.
Oh, hey, John. Sorry, my computer froze for a second there. I'm just sitting in my anime living room library. So
Okay.
no,
Yeah,
it's
I feel like it's the hologram version of you. Is sitting
yeah. I
there.
mean, it's like a filter. I'm just in a really boring room, so I wanted to. There's just nothing on the walls behind me. It's all just kind of like white
Sure.
wallpaper. So
Okay.
and if it's distracting, I can turn it off. It's not like anything.
No, it's fine. I'm just gonna pretend that I'm speaking to someone through a Jedi a Imperial hologram or something like that, like the
I think that's cool.
Emperor would do or whatever. Yeah,
sure. Perfect. I like that. Sounds great.
Okay, well, welcome back, everyone. We're the anime podcast that it's morning in Japan. So, if you're wondering why the hell I'm saying good morning, that would be why. But we're going to be talking about kind of a mishmash of things today. We've got a few news stories to cover. One thing, have you watched the Terminator anime trailer yet?
Yes, I've watched the trailer. Yep. Mm-hmm.
You did? Okay. All right.
Yep.
So I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
So I was considering maybe later in the episode going through that trailer bit by bit, and that will be not something that goes to the podcast because it wouldn't be very interesting to me about really watching EFAPing the video and see what I think about it. Being I've not come to it before, I haven't looked at it at all. So
I mean, it looks cool. It will be if I watch it, which I plan to. It'll be the first. You're sitting down. I see. That's good. It'll be the first of any Terminator anything I've seen.
Wow.
I know.
Okay.
You're happy you're sitting down now, aren't you?
I mean, you did prepare me, so I was anticipating that
sure.
then, but
I don't know. For whatever reason, I've just never seen anything. I've never seen the Terminator. Nothing. I mean,
okay.
I know virtually nothing about the whole Terminator universe. But I've heard that the anime you don't have to. You can enjoy it, and you don't have to have known anything about Terminator. You can just, if that's the only thing you've ever seen, it's still cool.
Sure. I'm guessing this is, if it's good, maybe this is what will get you into the rest of it.
Could be, yeah. Oh, yeah, undoubtedly.
It's some of these franchises. I think it's, I don't know, I suppose all over the place it's a problem, but I think that, I don't know, Terminator, the whole idea is, hey, in the future, machines take over, things are terrible, so someone has to go back and try to warn everyone, and we're going to there's a find the right element that can change this, that can make it so that future doesn't come to pass.
Oh, okay.
And
didn't even know that.
I think that I think that's
more than I ever did.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's really cool, but if you're going to, you can't keep making movies where you're someone that's going to try to change the future. I think you either need to have changed the future and you won and the story's over, or you didn't work out and now let's make movies and live in that future. How can we make the best of? How can we, rise up and, take the earth back and sort of thing like that. And I don't know, it just feels like they're afraid to move outside of the sort of initial paradigm presented in Terminator, and it's not been working in recent years. So,
okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Well, it'll be interesting then. We'll have to talk more after we've both seen the anime, assuming we're both going to watch it. And you can kind of fill me in more on does this do it the right way or more of the same that you don't like?
Yeah. I mean, the Terminator movies are ones that I've watched not frequently. So I've seen 1 through 3, and then that was it.
And they're what, like 7?
I don't know. There's a TV show which I did try momentarily. I don't know if that lasted very long. And then there is a movie with Christian Bale. That one looked really interesting to me. And
I like Christian Bale. So
yeah, that's on the set of that movie, I believe, is where he had his big recorded explosion that went around. You would call that. So
yeah,
I think
he threw a cell phone at someone or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Maybe that was Russell Crowe. I forget, but maybe they both did.
Yeah, he's had his moments too. Yeah,
I've heard they both have a bit of a temper, but I don't know.
They're older now. I think it was a young, hot-headed thing. Yeah.
Don't come after me, Christian Bale, and what the other guy? What was it again? Who did I
Russell
say?
Crowe. Russell
Crowe. Yeah.
The other
whatever,
guy.
Nothing personal. I love your movies though. Gladiator. Woo! Excited for Gladiator 2. All
right. Yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah, then there's, I don't know what's past that. I thought that movie looked interesting, but it never got to it. Heard mixed things. And then there's 1 or 2 more after that yet. So,
oh, wow. Okay. So there's several. I was joking with 7, but I wasn't far off, it sounds like.
Right.
Cool.
So yeah, maybe we'll get to that if we have time. Go through it. It can the EFAP of a trailer can take a while, but we'll see.
I'm not familiar with this term. What EFAP?
So I don't know who came up with it specifically. Yeah, I know. To my knowledge, a YouTuber named Mahler is the first one to come up with it, but maybe I'm completely wrong. It's every frame a pause. So
you can watch it without getting any sort of a copyright.
Yeah, you don't get struck, and you get to keep going through the whole thing and just break it down. Sweet. So it's something I could do every day if I wanted. Pick a thing. It's an easy way to make content, and I mean it can elicit quite a lot of discussion or whatever.
For sure, cool.
It's a good thing. We did one on the channel with Tony and Mike going over the F1 trailer.
Oh.
Brad Pitt and Kaczynski's F1. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Then a couple more news stories, but we'll get there in due time. Before that, let's see what have you been watching? What have you been reading? All that sort of thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been a super busy summer. I actually haven't been watching a ton lately. Or I will try something and it just doesn't quite grab me. And I don't know. I watched season 2 of Tower of God just came out, which I think is a mixed reviews. I think there's a lot of people who love it. It's like a Crunchyroll original. There's a lot of people who are like, this isn't that great. The animation isn't that great. But I think I've heard the storyline's cool. And I started out, I liked it, but it just didn't, I don't know. Didn't grab me. The animation in season 1 isn't very good, I don't think. And I've heard it gets better in season 2, but I don't know. So yeah, I just haven't been watching.
You started season 1.
I started with season 1. Yeah. I didn't. Okay. I just it made me. I've heard about it, and then I was reminded of it because season 2 is coming out. But I started from the beginning, obviously.
Yeah. I think it's based on a webtoon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I believe it is. Yeah.
And I thought people liked season 1.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about animation and stuff like that or whatever, but
yeah, I mean it's fine, and that doesn't usually bug me too much. But I don't know. I kept falling asleep. I mean, I was watching it too late, and that's my fatal flaws. I'll try watching shows when I'm way too tired. But if I compare it to Solo Leveling, which is also from a webtoon. Solo Leveling, I can't get enough of that show. I never fall asleep in that show, and I was just ready to watch it as soon as an episode dropped. And maybe it was the build up and stuff because I was waiting for it to come out for several months. But I mean, I think the anticipation of a show, waiting for a show to come out, will make you more excited about it, and therefore probably enjoy it more because you're really paying close attention. But
yeah, maybe.
But I don't know.
I mean, if you get too hyped for something, then you get let down.
True. Yeah. I mean,
it's always
It's
I do have pretty high hype for Don for that show, and
yeah.
I could be horribly let down because I want that to be good.
Yeah,
It looks good.
Yeah, no, I think so too. And I've heard, I can't remember the studio that's doing it, but I've like read on some online message boards that it's like a good studio and they're not going to do it dirty. So, like they won't let that happen. I forget who it is, but it wasn't one I super recognized. Or I mean, I've heard of it, but it wasn't like.
Was it Bones? Studio Bones?
No, I could find it quick. Maybe we can find it faster.
Let's see.
I think it's Science Saru. Science Saru.
It's Science. Yeah, Studio Science Sudu.
I'm pronouncing it correctly.
I don't know.
Obviously. Are they? I don't know. I don't really know them, but I read somewhere online where someone's like, "Oh, they're a good studio." They won. I don't know. Who knows? Just some random person online. So I don't. I'd have to look and see what else they've done and if I've seen anything. But I mean, all you got to do is kind of recreate the manga art, which is awesome. So, how can you go wrong? I mean, I'm sure there's lots of ways to go wrong, but I'm probably simplifying it quite a bit there. But
okay,
I also have high hopes.
Interesting. Yeah.
So speaking of Dandadan, I actually have been reading the manga. I bought the volume 1 maybe several months ago and read it, and it was really cool, really fun. And then but the Barnes & Noble by me only is like volume 1, volume 5, and then through like 10. And I was like, well, that's not that helpful. And so I just went a couple days ago with my family, and they had like the first 10 volumes. So I bought 2 and 3, which is awesome. But then I was like, it's like, I'm really getting into this now. I want to keep reading it. And I mean, it's maybe someday I'll buy the whole manga, but maybe at this point, I'm just reading it on Shonen Jump, like at the app. I just read.
Sure.
I don't know if people are aware of this, or I don't know if you know, John, but Shonen Jump is like $3 a month, and you have access to like unlimited manga, like all the super most popular manga out there. And it's have you used the app before or the?
Yes. Okay.
It's really user friendly. It reads really nice. I mean, I probably enjoy it more if I looked at it on like a tablet, but I don't have like a iPad or anything, so I read it on my phone.
No tablet in your household?
I mean, my girls have Kindle Fires, but no. Okay. And I guess Dana has we each have a Kindle Paperwhite, but I don't know if we can.
Yeah, I wonder if you can read
on that.
Probably not. No, I doubt that, but you could probably maybe read it on like a laptop or something. I don't know if you can log in or if you have to use the app. I really don't know.
I don't mind using my phone. I mean, anyway, but Dandadan, just wild. I'm loving it, but it's like what I think. Trying to think what I described it as earlier. It's like it's absurd, I think is what I said. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, in a fun way.
And that's why I've given it some graces, and there's a few things in there like, okay, this is not how people would say this or whatever, but the whole thing is so ludicrous, that I just kind of go with it. And it's
same. I think you're meant to like what about the time when I saw that like living like that living like science mannequin running down the street towards them. I was just like, all right, this manga, this story is just insane. It was just but it's super fun, and I mean it's meant to be insane, I think. So it's like one of those ones that you just kind of go with it and let it kind of sweep you away.
I'm waiting on the next volume. I know that the opening leaked. I did not watch it.
Oh no,
I don't want to watch it.
No, I don't want to watch it without it being released.
Yeah, I think the Spy Family opening, who did that to blanking on their names right now. I think they're doing the theme. Too? What's that?
Did you say that got leaked as well?
I think, the song with the opening, the whole thing got leaked, as far as I know. And Creepy Nuts, I think that's the name of the band, which is weird.
Funny. Okay, they do the opening for the second season of Mashal.
Okay. Yeah, they're just like all of a sudden getting hired all over the place.
I guess so.
stuff.
Yeah. Well, they got some cool jams, so I can believe it. But
Yeah.
yeah. Well, have you seen the preview for Don to Don? I'm assuming like the officially released preview. Yeah. Or the yeah.
I just really wanted to let I like that was all I needed to see. I don't want to watch any more until it's out. So
agreed. I'm super excited for it, but I don't want to spoil anything. And frankly, can people not just wait? Like, you don't need to leak stuff online. Like, this is not necessary.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and then I think the more people that watch it and share it, the more that's like people are gonna do it. I think it's stupid. Just enjoy anticipating something fun.
Sure.
It's half the fun.
Yeah.
If you had everything at your fingertips at all times, then what's there to like look forward to?
Well, I mean, that's the way, stuff seems to go here now.
Maybe I'm an old man now, John. I don't know.
I'm looking at this studio or this Science Sadhu studio here. And the big thing that sticks out to me that they've done is Devilman Crybaby.
Oh, okay.
Which I know Ashley tried and it wasn't for her.
I think it's pretty. I've looked into watching it and read about it, and I think you got to be in the right frame of mind, and I think it can be like pretty disturbing if you're not mentally prepared for it. Probably is the kind of the vibe I got.
Yes, it's very strange for sure. So
maybe somewhere along the lines of like Doro Hedoro, just in terms of like you got to be like ready for some wacky violence. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, and then there's I don't know what this is all about exactly. It's intriguing. There's a couple other things I heard of. There's a Star Wars Visions. They did one of the episodes or whatever for that.
Okay.
And then there's this what looks like a Ghost in the Shell film or something. I don't know.
Not the original.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out exactly what this is here. I'm confused. It said it looks like it's not yet out. So
okay.
It looks like they've been tasked with some other. It's called Kyokaku Kidotai, and they're looking at 2026 maybe.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, I mean, I think Don to Don is a pretty big title. Like, I think that a fair amount of people in the anime community are anticipating. I don't think it's just you and me. And you'd hope that they would give it to a studio who can handle it.
Yeah, some of this other stuff looks so familiar, and it all seems to rate pretty well. So,
okay.
I'm excited. It's not just another. Let's give it to the Jujutsu studio again or whatever.
Right.
Mappa.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, Mappa does so much. Mappa's great, but they don't need to do everything.
Yeah. And then you're talking about your Shonen Jump. I did have that for quite a while. I never use it all that much, and because I kind of come in and out of, shonen phases or whatever.
Sure.
But I wanted to mention that, like, I talked about it a while ago now. There was an announcement for a new subset of a publisher that is trying to bring more non-shonen, more adult themed, made for adult manga to the States and stuff like that, and doing it like they would in Japan, having dust covers on them and all that sort of thing.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
And I've pre-ordered the two that were interesting to me on Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
So I have Leviathan Volume 1 and Manhole Volume 1, both on pre-order, that are supposed to come out early November. So.
Okay. Is it pretty similar price point to Japanese manga that you can buy in like Barnes and Noble?
Yeah. They're like
$12
one of these is 13, one of them is 15. So
okay, a little more, but
I mean, they vary depending on the like the paper quality, the the heft and density, the
Sure.
size, all this sort of thing. And then these are going to have dust covers. So I think anywhere between 10 and 15 is kind of what,
Standard.
Seems to.
Yeah, which is fine. If you're trying to like actually read through a whole long series, and it's just that gets expensive. And you go, I mean, I can read a volume in like, and I don't know, it doesn't take long to read through a volume.
I mean, but I used to do this like as a kid. I'd be, this comic book, it's at the time it was $2.99 or whatever, and that's expensive because you could buy a book that would last for a very long time for $5.
Sure.
And it's like, yes, but I'm paying for a visual medium, not, like it's and that's why webtoons are popular. It really isn't much of a visual medium for a lot of people. It's I would scroll basically as fast as I can read, and the art is essentially irrelevant. It is there to help convey what's happening, obviously, but it's not like it's not the focus. And so it is that quick scrolling kind of endless thing. And a lot of people want that. I want then an endless scrolling feed of,
fair.
And comic books typically and manga aren't that. Like you're supposed to look at the art and see the expressions on the face. Look how, panels are designed to elicit some sort of feeling or whatever, it's a simple stuff like we learned in college, like where do you place the horizon line on your shot can depend on what, makes a difference of how you feel, or like the perspective. If you're looking up at someone or you're looking down at someone, all that sort of thing. And so you should, the idea hopefully is that you take your time reading it, or you reread it. You go through it again. I've got, these two volumes here. I've got Die Dark Volume 6 and Heavenly Delusion Volume 7. Different size. Both are pretty high quality. You can feel the extra weight on these versus some. The Die Dark is $14.
Okay.
And the Heavenly Delusion is $13.
Okay.
$12.95.
Yeah, I agree with all that, and I do. I tend to pay less attention to the art and the panels, and really sit and kind of like look at them and think about them when it's like a very intense part of the story. I do it more during when it's like not quite as intense, just because I'm like, when I'm in the middle of an intense part, I'm like, I want to find out what happens. So that's a great point that you can go back and like reread them, which I'm sure you did as a kid with comic books. You go and look, and then you're like, really, and then on your next read through, you already know what happens, and you can pay more attention to the art and the choices the artist made. I agree with that, and I'll do that. I think you're right about webtoons. People do just scroll through, but there's times when I'm like reading a webtoon where I kind of pause to like, oh, that was really cool how they did that, or that art there, this art style. So, but I think for the most part, you're right. People are scrolling through. So other than Dandadan, I was talking about that I hadn't really been watching a lot all summer, but I just recently did start a new show that I read about online, and it was getting really quite good reviews, and like people were really commending the animation. So I gave it a shot, and it's called The Elusive Samurai. I don't know if people are familiar, or heard about it, or watched any of it. It's on Crunchyroll. The studio is Cloverworks, I want to say. Does that sound like a thing? Is that a thing? Yeah.
Yep, that's a thing.
I believe the studio is Cloverworks. Pretty sure. I should double check that so I'm not like attributing something incorrectly. It's really interesting. The animation is incredible. And it's an interesting story because it's kind of this, it's kind of historical fiction, but has like some Demon Slayer-y vibes. There is some kind of like supernaturally stuff thrown in there, kind of a hero's journey thrown in there. Kind of historical fiction shonen-ish.
Okay.
Comedy a little bit.
This
not comedy, but there's some funny parts, but not. There's some goofy parts, I should say, but it's not really funny.
I'm kind of clicking through the trailer, and this looks cool. It looks good. This this art reminds me a lot of something a lot more 90s. It's a lot more of a like an Inuyasha kind of look to it.
I did feel like their hair was all pretty weird, so I assumed it was kind of a takeoff of like a 90s vibe.
Okay. I'm gonna just share I'll share a tab here of it.
Sure. It takes place, while you're doing that, I'll just kind of say a little more. It takes place in like the 1300s in Japan, when there was still like the shogunate versus the emperor and that kind of a vibe. This guy's like kind of a weird like priest. You know, I don't want to say too much about it, but it's I mean it's really cool. It's not your typical. I mean, obviously, every show is going to try to. Yeah, it is Cloverworks. I did check that. So there's some goofiness for sure, but the protagonist, this gentleman here, this young man, isn't like this mighty warrior per se. You know, it's like that's why they call him the elusive samurai, because he like wins by like kind of dodging and sort of running away, which is a weird premise, but they make it into like a good thing. I guess it's hard to describe, but yeah, it's quite good.
Okay.
It's pretty. I would say, you know, it's like certainly there's some, especially the episode 1 where they're setting the whole story up. There's quite a bit of pretty fairly graphic violence. I wouldn't put it in like the Attack on Titan level, or it's, I guess, probably comparable to Demon Slayer. Maybe a little bit more, but nothing too wild. But really good, really good. And that's a show that I've like had no trouble paying attention to, staying awake for, even if I'm tired. Like that must be my
that's your bar.
My bar. Yeah, I can stay awake. But yeah,
nice.
So I've been watching that. That's
good. I'll have to try that one. I have a few shows I need to wrap up or power through or whatever.
Sure.
So I always feel bad about starting a new one before doing that. But sometimes it does prevent me from getting on and watching something that I will, speed through or really whatever. So
the nice part about this one is there's probably only like, it's pretty new still. So there's probably only 6 or 7 episodes out, and there are only, I want to say 4 or 5 that are dubbed into English, and I've been watching in English. So I'm just going to try to kind of catch up. I'm almost caught up. I think I'm through 4 episodes. I'm just going to try to catch up and then watch it week by week. I do much better with shows when I'm active with a current show and watching it week by week.
Yeah.
It's easier to stick with.
Nice.
Versus it's overwhelming to try. I think that was part of the problem with Tower of God. I was like, man, there's like 20 episodes for me to watch. That's just like a lot. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, it depends on the mood you're in. If you want to power through something, you don't have anything else to watch or anything else you're doing, then perfect. Especially a show, depending on pacing, that can be pretty beneficial.
That's true.
But otherwise, you want to watch a variety or something. I like having the every week look forward to a new Kaiju number 8.
Oh yeah,
I do like that.
I did the same with Solo Leveling, and for sure.
Yeah, but it depends on how what do you take? What's your stance on that? Like, we talked about it with House of the Dragon a little bit or whatever, but some people have complaints about how season ends or whatever, and to me, the whole idea of not having, like, if we're going to talk about any benefits of not being on television, live on television, 30-minute time slots, 23-minute episode, or whatever it is, for all the stuff, you have to allow for commercial breaks and fit it in your time slot. If you're going to do streaming, you don't have to do any of that. It's the same as like why podcasts are better than the news, because it's like, well, we have a segment. You have a 3-minute segment. You got to come on here, say your thing you're supposed to say, and then you're gone. Versus like, well, we'll sit down and we can talk for as long as we want.
Sure.
So do you think there's a creator should feel beholden to making every episode kind of self-contained or satisfying in and of itself? Or can you like, well, look, even though this is airing once a week, it's a part of a whole, and we're just going to tell the story as it is, and maybe you'd enjoy it better back to back than week to week, but we're not going to like, we need to end on a cliffhanger, so you need to come back next week or whatever, you know?
Sure.
How do you fall on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't think I need a cliffhanger every week. I also think I just wanted to follow the source material. So however that looks, I mean, I think the source material probably, as with manga and other things, I think they tend to leave a volume or a chapter on some sort of like a surprising thing. So, I mean, it's easy probably for them to build that into the anime because that's what the source material is doing. I think probably I'd rather they just do it how they do it. I don't need I don't need every episode to be my favorite episode. That's just not how it's going to be. And I don't want them to change things to make it that way, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. So that's if you're based on a pre-existing thing, like if you're doing anime from a manga, that kind of thing, you know. But there's this part of you might be a creator in that situation where you are competing for space to get into Shonen Jump, and so you need to have those first few chapters are just, you know, really hitting. You get, you know, you've hit the ground running, and so people make sure that they come back, and then you get the votes, and you get to stay in, all that sort of thing.
Sure.
But there's other situations where you're like, Netflix is going to be paying for a show, and they're like, yeah, we'll pay for this many episodes. And then, you know, how you pace that is kind of up to you. Like, you can make one battle a little longer, a little shorter. You can, you know, I don't know. I can see it going through people's head. Like, okay, let's map out. We have a season. Let's map out how this can be, and how can we make these satisfying episodes week to week. But else at the same time, like, maybe we want to not worry about that too much because it's meant to be viewed as a whole. You know?
Yeah. Great question. I think most of the stuff I watch probably does have some sort of like I mean, I just think that's normal with TV, is to leave you a little something to make. They want you to come back and watch the next episode. I mean, so they got to leave you with some sort of like unknown that you got to come back to watch to find out what happens next week, kids. Like, it's just like, that's just like part of TV from way back. I feel like, I don't know.
Yep. Mike, how's it going?
Look at this.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey.
What's up?
Good. Yeah, good timing here. I was just posing the question to Phil about, you know, we've discussed plenty before about like how maybe Demon Slayer is, you know, leaves a person unsatisfied from week to week, you know, not enough happens, all that sort of thing. Just like, what do you think as a creative you should be doing if you have the choice to strike the balance between, we need to make every episode satisfying in and of itself, maybe have a cliffhanger or something like that, versus, well, this is our roadmap, this is our season that we have blocked out, and however that sort of fits in there is how it fits in there.
I think you have to focus on telling a good story, a good coherent story, above all else. And if that means that there's, you know, you have to slow the momentum down a little bit with some things in order for that to have time to breathe, in order for the characters to have meaning, then yeah, go for it. I know, you know, on like a weekly basis, sometimes we complain about, you know, things not feeling like they progressed enough, but I think that's typically a symptom of the story itself not feeling strong enough.
Right. So it's not necessarily well, you didn't, you know, plan out the high points and low points and whatever arc of this particular episode. It's just like you don't have enough content for the length of the overall thing you're telling anyways.
Yeah, I think, ultimately, like if you look at something like the classic Dragon Ball Z like baseball episode, right? They're kind of famous for like just stepping away from the story entirely to do those
Right.
kind of fun little things, right? And I guess, that's a creative choice, but when it doesn't progress, when you can't see the reason for it tying in, that's where it feels a little hollow, and that's where it gets frustrating. On the Demon Slayer side of things, the episodes that feel like that to me are the ones that like there's maybe combat there, but it's rehashing, but we haven't progressed anywhere. Like it's the fight could be exciting and there's high points to that, right, in that scene, but if at the end of it you're like, okay, well, so what,
Right,
that's where it feels empty to me. Yeah.
You got a snare drum over there, Mike, or what was that?
No, what's going on? What am I doing?
No,
I think
just like a weird noise all of a sudden. Maybe it's just me.
Oh, this chair is cheap.
Oh, yeah. Use your chair. It's like a rat-a-tat-tat.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all good. It was just for a second. I thought maybe I was like hearing things. But.
I don't have a musical bone in my body.
Mike, I know you've been busy racing and stuff and everything into your car. Have you had chance to watch anything at all in the last couple months? Or
no, I really, really have not. To be perfectly honest, I was kind of hoping I'd hop on here and just listen to you guys talk and get ideas and suggestions.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't think I'd be. I don't think I'll be playing much of an active role tonight.
Fair enough.
That's right. Let's see. We'll talk about some new stuff.
Yeah.
The Phil was just recommending The Elusive Samurai on Netflix.
That sounds cool.
It's really good. Well animated. It's really quite good. It's like kind of historical fiction, but there's like definitely like a Demon Slayer-y vibe to it, I would say. Cool. It's kind of the way they make the protagonist, like the way they make his characters interesting. It's kind of a twist on the typical shonen hero's journey, but still all works. It's good. It's quite good.
Nice.
It looks just, I hadn't heard anything of it. I was just poking through the trailer a little bit, and it definitely looks more 90s. It looks a lot more like just visually like an Inuyasha type of show. So that kind of sold me right away. Anytime something sort of varied up from some of the more current day styles, I'm all for that. It's like, it's one of those things that I would think there'd be people that grew up in sort of the same era that we did and would want to go. I mean, I see with video games at times, would want to go back and re-look at some of those art styles, whether it's
absolutely
Ghost in the Shell or Ninja Scroll or something like that. And maybe this is something a bit like that. I just saw it today. They did a Nintendo Direct, and they unveiled like indie game called Pizza Time or Pizza something.
Oh my God, is it Tobey Maguire?
It looks like a very 90s sort of like it was mixing cow and chicken and Ed, and Eddie. It's that sort of aesthetic and kind of a crazy side scroller type of game. It's like, clearly someone that, can program now that grew up with those kind of cartoons to make a game, and, here it is. So awesome.
That's cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of nostalgia things when we were kids in the 90s and stuff, and it kind of fits in with our discussion earlier, John, of like animation and different kinds of animation and things like that. But have you guys seen, and maybe Mike, maybe you have with your son, but have you guys seen the new animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie?
Yes.
I didn't actually watch it, but I watched the first like 5 minutes with my girls until they decided they didn't like it.
Oh.
But the animation is crazy.
It's awesome.
It's cool.
For how much the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse got like acclaim for their animation style, I felt like Ninja Turtles got totally overlooked for a similarly cool effect, even though not exactly the same. Like, it's still definitely its own and should be applauded.
Sure. Yeah.
I thought. Yeah. Agreed with you.
And it's probably like a lot of CGI and stuff, but I mean, it's not meant to be. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. It's like very artistic. It's very like you can see like paint strokes and stuff half the time. I don't know.
Yeah,
not what I was expecting. Yeah, and it had kind of almost like a claymation vibe to it from way back in the day. I was like, this is cool. I gotta go back and watch this now.
Yeah, I kind of tuned out of Turtles since they rebooted the one Nickelodeon cartoon. It's like seemed like it was sort of downhill from there. They did such a great job with that cartoon, and then the next series they redesigned the Turtles and they looked weird. It looked like a step down.
Sure.
And I know the comic books hadn't been doing well and all sorts of things, so I just sort of was done with the Turtles. Then they did do The Last Ronin, which I guess at least the first volume of the comic people liked a lot.
Oh, okay.
So there's
which,
that.
I mean, are they actually isolating it from the Ninja Turtles to like one of them? Is it like Raphael or something? Like The Last Ronin suggests just one of them, right?
Right.
To my understanding is Raphael is the only one alive yet in that book.
That's bizarre.
Dang.
Yeah. The original Ninja Turtle comic books were pretty dark.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Dude,
definitely got a lot more lighthearted in the cartoons.
Oh, wow.
I can see why they went Raphael, right, based on his character. But you know what would actually be even more awesome is seeing if it was Mikey all by himself, Michelangelo, because seeing his like kind of crazy personality when he's isolated, he could go full psycho.
Yeah.
He'd be totally talking to things. He'd find like his Wilson, the volleyball. So he'd absolutely do that.
But
you're kind of right, because
I've heard the movie is also good, not just animation, but it's I mean, I've heard it's a good movie generally.
Okay.
Yeah,
and Mike can probably speak to that.
I liked it. I mean, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to go into it. It's not like a radical change of storytelling, right? But
sure,
there's to John's point, there's a few moments of a little bit darker kind of stuff, but still very, very, very kids friendly, right? Dark for kids, kind of.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Cool. Oh, and Mike, we were talking about an upcoming anime that we will be talking to everyone that's on this podcast about, and probably you'll get sick of it. But Don to Don, we've talked about it a little bit, but
that's the one you should put in your calendars
when it comes out.
Okay.
It's like I feel the same way about this one coming out that I did a couple months before Kaiju number 8 came out. So I mean, it's gonna be I think the one of the top. I get the impression from message boards and stuff that it's like one of the top anime to come out for fall of 2024.
I don't know if it feels like it's your kind of show though, unfortunately, again, because
it's gonna be so good though. You got to lean into it. Lean into it.
I mean,
probably not.
Like you felt that you were a little unsure about. Oh shoot, what was it now? Dorohedoro.
Oh
no, Dorohedoro. Well, and so to me, it's like, if you're a little unsure of that one, then
I don't know if I was unsure of it. I was just like, as I'm watching it this whole time, when I was watching Dorohedoro, I was like, man, I'm trying to follow what's happening here, and it's almost like I'm intentionally not supposed to be able to.
Yeah.
Like it was visually fantastic. I like, and things were cool, and even some of the story was like fun. Like I could still enjoy it, and I was still into the characters, but I was like, am I supposed to understand this? Because dude, he's turning stuff into mushrooms. I don't know why.
no one does. Yeah. Well,
okay. All right. I mean,
I think you'll like it then, because I think actually Don to Don it is going to have like bizarre and wild and like super crazy, colorful moments like that. But I actually think that the main characters are even more likable and like relatable than in Dorohedoro, because they're like high school, like Japanese high school kids.
Well, and it takes place.
Oh, I relate to them real hard.
What's that?
Japanese high school. I relate to Japanese high school kids.
More so than a lizard man who lives in an alternate universe.
I live that life. Okay. Yep. You're right.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, it is more because it takes place on Earth in a real, in a place.
Right.
Okay.
Dodo Hey Dodo is like it just launched that author. I just finished reading volume 6 of Die Dark, and that is the same author. And this is similar type of thing. Just launch you into insane different scenario.
Place.
You know, here you're in outer space, some point way in the future, and there's all kinds of technology and things and species and whatever that you just gotta take it as that is a thing and exists and you know, and I like that thing because you really feel like you're in a different place. You know, it's not so safe. I like extreme fantasy and sci-fi versus a retread of this again. So,
but
that makes sense.
But it's just it's just like Japanese high school kids, ghosts, aliens, a little bit of a love story, maybe. Who knows? But you know, it's just all. I really think it works, and it gets a little like outlandish, but in the best way. So
nice.
Sure.
Okay.
I want to talk just a little bit more, just mention a little more about this, or at least put my official stamp of recommendation on Die Dark Volume 6, and say that Volume 7 is coming up very shortly, and then they do this fun thing in here where I feel bad doing it. I did in the first couple volumes. They put a crossword in the back.
Oh, cool.
So it's all related to what you just read.
Oh, sure.
And yeah, it's
you feel bad doing it because you're marking up the book.
Yeah.
John likes keep his manga mint.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah.
That's super easy.
Plastic dust jackets.
You get a sheet of tracing paper, right? You put it over top of it so you can copy your grid, and then you finish it that way.
Or like a photocopy printer thing works too.
Yeah. You could use modern technology. You don't have to do what I did.
If you want to be a loser, you can use a printer, I guess.
If you want to work smarter and not harder, you can use Phil's idea.
I mean, it's cool. Tracing's part of the fun too, so that's all good. I'm down with you. I can't really. Is that a cyborg with two heads?
It's a similar art style too.
That's cool though. Looks cool.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he does it all. There's some, again, you have to just let things go. It's preposterous and all that.
The author is the artist as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, does
it all.
That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of manga is that way too. Like they, a lot of times they have assistants, that kind of thing to help with panels or whatever, do things, extra stuff, whatever. Because the person I think that does Don to Don, I think was an assistant to Chainsaw Man. So he worked on Chainsaw Man.
I did read that in one of the manga beginnings or ends. Okay. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's basically what I've been up to. Other than I'm very excited to start Heavenly Delusion Volume 7. That's been much delayed. Finally, it's here.
Awesome.
This is one of the best series I've ever read. I will want to watch the anime someday.
Someday, once you finish that manga.
Well, it needs to come out on. Maybe it's available in the Philippines on DVD.
I'm sorry. I thought you already had bought it on DVD or Blu-ray.
No, I don't know that it exists. Maybe it must exist internationally, I suppose, but
you don't want to watch it on. Oh, you don't have Hulu?
Nope.
Okay, well, if you wanted to watch it, you could bite the bullet and pay for a month of Hulu subscription.
Yeah, I mean, if it's as good as the manga, I'll just buy it and have it. Honestly, if it's available, because
what if it never becomes available? You'll never watch it.
Well, I bet it is available. Now, Hulu isn't worldwide, so they usually have it like available someplace else, so long as it has English subtitles. So.
Got it. Okay. Yes, it's quite. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. So.
And then one of the most influential animes, mangas ever to tons of people, comic book artists today, all this is Berserk. And I've never gotten into Berserk because some people say read it, some people say watch it, some people say just do both. Some people say this anime is good of it, and others say this one is not. And just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, my boxing coach came and said, like, you were talking about anime. It's like, oh my God, you have to watch Berserk. And he recommended like these 3 movies, but they're really hard to find. And they are. I looked them up. They're incredibly expensive on eBay, and they're not available streaming anywhere. So I think those movies are broken down to a series, if I'm not mistaken, someone can correct me, called the Golden Age Arc. And it's however many episodes, and that's kind of that version, but in episodic form versus movie. And so I just watched the first episode of that. And it took me a minute because I'm not a fan of the CG kind of art style. Because the art in Berserk in the manga is so good. Like that, again, is one of those things that it has inspired, comic book artists the world over. And so then to turn it into sort of CG sort of thing that looks cleaner and everything, it's just a poor choice.
Sure.
But the episode was good. So I'll probably continue with that.
Did you bought it online or I mean, sorry,
no, I'm just watching Berserk, the Golden Age Arc in episodic form on Crunchyroll.
Oh, it's on Crunchyroll. Okay.
Yeah. If you want to watch the movies, which I think is 3 movies, that's the movie version of this, you have to buy them, and they're very expensive.
Got it. But is this like the beginning of the anime, or would you, if one wanted to, you could go out, they could go watch like the original Berserk first? Or
I'll be honest, I started watching this because like I'm going to dip my toe in there and try it, and because that's what the thing that has kept me from watching Always Before is looking up where to start and whatever. Okay. I'm just kind of trying to go off of my coach's recommendation here. I'll give this a shot. So it was starting, there was no like, oh, what's happening here or whatever. It was clearly set that I could understand the story without any previous knowledge.
I see. Okay. So, and it's like, what's it about? It's like a fighting show. It's like
I mean, yeah, it's like, it's supposed to be a pretty grim, people always at war sort of thing. You follow this character named Guts.
I've heard of it.
There's a, great fighter or whatever. And in this, he kind of, just the opening, he's kind of recognized for how good of a fighter he is, but gets sort of trapped into serving someone else. And that person is on one side of a particular conflict. So
sounds like it's pretty violent. My cursory little research.
Yes, violent and rapey. It's
okay.
All right.
It doesn't really sound like it's up my alley, but I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah,
you're not into
that's
those.
mean. It's like there are certain things that are just very influential in anime and manga. I mean, like Dragon Ball, Pokemon, One Piece, Berserk, probably Sailor Moon. Like those things are like they transcend the genre. And I mean, if you look at all the people in the Olympics that do various, I don't know if you've seen their breakdowns, they do various hand signals from Naruto, or someone did the Gojo, like this sort of thing. They like do this thing like to remind them of a DBZ character or something, get them amped before their run or their jump or their whatever.
I hadn't noticed that. That's cool. I do like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I haven't seen any of those other influential anime either, so I'll just have to, I don't know, work on that, I guess.
Yeah.
How frequently do Japanese anime go outside of their own culture? Like, what are the odds of me getting to see like a legit Japanese anime about Norse mythology or Vikings? Because when you say Berserk, right, I think of Vikings, right? I think of that inner war between the Vikings and the Germanic tribes, right? And I would, as I'm thinking about that, that would be cool as shit to see in an anime like art style.
Yeah.
Well, you'd watch Vinland Saga. Yeah.
Okay, what is it called?
Highly acclaimed
Japanese anime. Sorry.
Yep, it's highly acclaimed. Vikings. JP loves it.
Vinland Saga.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people love it. I think JP had a little issue with season 2 because he's like, it was so soul crushing, just like the emotionality of it. It's just
he watched Attack on Titan all the way through. I can't believe he says that.
I mean, I think he still liked it, but you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Vinland Saga. That seems like something that's be more up your alley. And I know Andrea's watched some of it. No, that's part of the reason that I think, you know, Japanese things that are produced from Japanese culture are so good is because there's no fear of going anywhere. Like
that is cool.
Wherever it is in any culture, they will be used. You know, you look at a lot of video games. A lot of Japanese video games are based in like a European medieval scenario, but then there's a layer of it's something Japanese about it, like the Japanese attitudes, you know, and personalities, and you know,
sure,
there's an added flair, but it's all about like knights in armor. You know, the Fire Emblem series, the Tales of Vesperia series, like on and on. There's tons of JRPGs, Final Fantasy games over and over. Like it's the blending of worldly cultures that are cool and influential to them with their own that makes it something unique. You know? But yeah. And then they're also not afraid to put like their own places in stuff, like in very high, you know, it's in our stuff. A lot of times you look at like in comic books, Spider-Man, they'd put Spider-Man in New York. He'd be in Manhattan. But a lot of other things, they don't do that kind of thing. In Japanese stuff, they'll very specifically, like, here's this street, you know, you can play the Persona game and run around, you know, Shibuya, and it's, you know, it's a lot like it is. You can go visit landmarks and stuff. So, yeah. Okay. A show that we've all seen and we talked about on this here podcast is Jujutsu Kaisen. And I want to bring up the news story that I have here via Crunchyroll News. Okay. Here it is. So, Jujutsu Kaisen anime announces season 2 compilation film coming next year.
Oh, well.
So, I want to know if this has any, if you care at all. If this is interesting to you at all. And next year we get the season we just had, but it's put into a film.
Yeah. I'd probably, if I was going to rewatch season 2, I'd probably just watch the movie and not the whole season again. But yeah, I mean, and I might watch it if it takes forever for season 3 to come out, but otherwise I might just not.
I think I would watch it because I think it's a show that I liked better in binge format, and that's basically what this is.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Maybe they could cut out some of the extensive battles. There's a couple of battle scenes I thought just went on longer than they needed to at the expense of other things. So maybe they could really clean it up a little bit, and that might be not much. I mean, I love season 2, but it might just be a nice, really flowy, perfectly watch.
Well, did you guys compare? Did either of you see Demon Slayer the movie and then the season version of that?
No.
Like
Mugen Train?
Yeah.
No.
I did.
Oh, you might.
I saw both.
You did?
You did?
Yeah.
So what did you prefer?
I prefer the movie.
Okay.
Even so,
fair enough. I could see that.
The movie feels like it does. It cuts out some things, but you get the key cohesive story, and especially with Jujutsu Kaisen with season 2, like how they time shifted right? How you go back and you're kind of getting the backstory between Gojo. The names are going to escape me now. It's been too long.
Gojo and Geto.
Yes, thank you. Gojo and Geto. And you see that happen, and that has like massive significance to the end when Geto, right, reappears in front of him. But in the show, because you had the weeks in between, sometimes it felt so long before that payoff was not as impactful as I think it could have been if you had just watched the build up to that, right, an hour before.
Right.
I take it back. I do want to watch it now, Mike. You convinced me.
Awesome.
I am a little disappointed though, because this coming out, this kind of basically reworking, like essentially like director's cut of the season. They're gonna splice it all up and put it back together in a movie. That's gonna take a whole year to come out. Like, God, when's the next season gonna come out? Then now we're looking at 2026 or later before season 3 comes out. So
yeah, so I have this here. The next arc is called the Culling Game arc.
Doesn't sound good.
It's in production now. That's what we know.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything of when it will be.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. I too. I think that it could massively benefit, because there was Jujutsu Kaisen was the first movie was very good. So that's something. And then season 2 to me had so much going for it. It had a really, I kept saying when we were covering it that it was over directed, and like in the best way. They would have it was visually more competent than the story sometimes deserved. The way that they would hold shots in like the subway bathroom and let lights flicker and stuff like that, or they would have it was Geto standing in the shower and like let the water intensify as like he is like drowning, and like just so good. It was really it was a really good looking show that was sloppy and felt like they were giving us a montage of anime music videos versus like a meaningful story. And so I like the beginning stuff, the early arc. I thought that was done quite well, pretty concise. And then the rest just got messy and bloated, and they wrecked Nanami, in my opinion. I did not like what happened there. We wasted time on other characters. Just so, yes, I think the movie could be a really good thing here.
Especially if they can pick their scenes well, right, John? If you can get those maybe not emotion's not even the right word, but like tension building or ambiance building scenes, if they can select those right ones, keep them in there, and then rid us of, I mean, like I'm thinking of the whole scene, the basically all of Panda's scenes, and I like Panda, right? But as they were going through the city, right, trying to set their perimeter, completely inconsequential to any of it. And then, the big bad shows up and he's like, don't move until I say so. Like, that's cool, but it's entirely unnecessary. And you had 2 episodes of where you distracted us with them running around and running into the other group. Doesn't matter. Especially if the next thing is going to be the Culling Game, and that sounds like half of them are going to die anyway. So,
right, yeah, it really does.
Yeah, it will come down to picking the right things. They need to do stuff like you'd have in other fighting anime. Like you have a moment in an episode where you see that a side character is fighting someone else, so that's happening. If you have, you don't take a whole episode to go on the aside later parts of Dragon Ball to have Krillin mano a mano someone else. Krillin is there and you see him dealing with someone else, but it's not, he doesn't get that kind of time. and that's fine. So you can have this, you get the sense then there's this giant battle, everyone's involved, everyone has their moment. I'm thinking of a movie there, Master Roshi, like he gets his moment, he bulks up, goes crazy, and like, you know, gets his few punches in, and then we move on. So they needed to do that sort of thing, but they just got too greedy trying to give everyone their mano a mano cool fight. And we just went from one to the next.
Yep.
And yeah, we can know that everyone is there and involved without having this giant detour.
Right.
And then you can't immediately have like your giant Sukuna insane battle and then immediately do another one.
Yeah,
that was weird. That was weird.
Yeah,
yes.
And
so what are you going to do about that? Because
I'm kind of hoping that they clean up the animation, right? Because this was right at the time where they were talking about the animators being heavily overworked, and there was a lot of press around that, right? And you can see, especially in the second Sukuna fight, or maybe it was the first one, when he unleashes his domain, right? And it's the millions of cuts domain or whatever. That looked real sloppy, and like the disintegration of the buildings looked sloppy. And I remember people saying, things about that online as well. Like this is the moment they've been waiting for to see on screen in real time, and that's a place where they cut the animation costs or whatever. Sure. So maybe the movie is that redemption for that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. Well, and I always want to go on record saying that I get these things take a long time to make, and it's I certainly don't want them to work their people harder or pay to get it out faster. It'll come out when it comes out, but it's a long time to wait. Just hire more people. It's not simple. Just hire more people and pay them more. That's I'll pay more. I keep saying, like, I'll pay more. I'll pay more for Crunchyroll. All right, Crunchyroll, you can give your animation houses more money. They can pay their people more. Like, we'll pay more for it. It's fine. Just raise your prices a little bit. Raise $4 for all of us. It'll be fine. It'll all filter down.
Well, the trick of that is that Crunchyroll is paying to get distribution rights in the United States. Crunchyroll isn't paying necessarily to have the show made. And so
I understand that, but it all filters down. I mean, right? I mean, it's like,
well, it's a giant risk for whatever studio to say, okay, we're going to hire on a whole bunch more people. We're going to have that happen, and then we're going to sell our show, but to Crunchyroll. But then Crunchyroll is going to decide how much that's worth and like how many people that's going to bring to the service or whatever. And they're keeping the right merchandise, so that would be lucrative. So if it doesn't, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like, people are seeing that the well is going to dry up at some point. Like, you can't.
Yeah. We talked about this. I guess you're right. I keep forgetting.
And Disney and Crunchyroll can't, pouring the money out in these things. Because are their services growing that fast as well? No, they're not.
Sure.
Disney doesn't make any money on their streaming service. They keep losing money. The only one that's making money is Netflix. They've been at it for, their bet has paid off.
Sure.
But now that they're making money, do they need to continue? At some point, you have a library that's vast enough that there's always a new show for a new customer.
I can never watch everything. I would have to have like no job, no children. Like and even then I'd get bored. I just can't consume that much. I'd be like, I need to take a nap for 4 hours.
One more anime make someone new subscribe or stick around. I mean, they have to do that calculation. It's a really tough model. And it's like, it's one of those situations where how like the video game industry can seemingly be the healthiest, super healthy because of the growth it had, and it makes so much money overall as an industry, yet companies are laying off people left and right. And there's a real worry about a kind of a collapse because companies don't know how to make money, or they get a little too comfortable in the growth that they had and the customer base they had, and then it starts slipping, and now we're freaking out. So
yeah. So are you saying like downstream, the result of all that, the business model is that why things take so long to like create? Because they're just working with the resources they have, and they don't have enough resources.
I think for Japan, they've been in economic stagnation for a long time, and they're one of the oldest populations on the planet. Yep. And they're not having kids like a lot of other people, and so they're not really raising people that are ready to be in this industry. So Japan is looking outside of Japan. If you watch the credits to anime, you'll find a lot of people from Vietnam or Taiwan or China, or what they're shipping out all these extra jobs to fill in between things, all that sort of thing, because they don't have the people or the proper structure to get people involved and do it all themselves.
Sure.
And so there's like, government initiatives to change this and stuff like that. But
so you're saying I should move my wife and children to Japan and become a animator for a big studio?
I'll come with you. So. I'll be on your tail.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
I used to draw Dragon Ball Z characters. They're doing some other really crazy stuff over in Japan too to get you to come over there, by the way.
You're right, you just like buy a house for nothing in the country, I think. But
yeah.
Well,
it's interesting. I've heard though you'll never. I've read articles about Americans or other like Westerners who have like moved there, and they said it's like people treat you nicely, but you're never quite fully accepted as like a local. Like you're never quite fully accepted as like someone who's been there, even if you've been there for like 20 years. It's just, I don't know, they said it's no one's saying it outright, but it's just kind of a vibe that you're never going to be completely part of the culture. But that's probably people probably say that too about moving to the U.S. First generation immigrants. I don't know. Who knows?
I think I would feel that way if I moved to Minneapolis. I mean, like, I think that's just part of it. Like, I wouldn't fit the Minneapolis culture. I would always be a little bit of an outsider, right? I'm not going to fit the Japanese culture perfectly as much as I might admire it. Maybe that would change a little bit once I've seen it. But on the flip side, I know a couple of people that do live over there. Like one teaches English, right? Friggin' loves it. Will never come back. Got married, had kids over there. Loves it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both.
All right. Well, put it on the just noodle it a little bit. We'll do it.
All right.
Just like I'm sure I can get my wife on board. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I always I joke with Ashley that we both say that in a past life we must have been Japanese, but in this life I'm definitely not. And it's like I would love if I had gobs of money to have a second home in Japan, or just you just stay there a couple months of the year or whatever. But like their culture, for all the benefits and all the things that I admire about it, I also have lots of things that I don't like about it.
Sure.
And I would never. You're totally right. I think lots of people say that they don't ever fully belong. It's hard to make real, meaningful, close friends in Japan and also Korea. It is what a lot of people say. And it's that we were watching Shogun. I don't remember watch Shogun at all, but that I really appreciated for the hard-nosed, legitimate look at the stark differences between Western culture and Eastern culture, particularly that of Japan. And I applaud him for it. And they discuss having three selves or three hearts or whatever. You have like your visible to the public sort of one. You have your family or closest friends, and then you have your secret one or whatever. And they're kind of taking those things very seriously and not, it's just already, even amongst themselves, harder to reveal that sort of inner self to others.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, maybe that's more of a reflection on us than on them. Like just us going over there and expecting them, not adapting to that three selves kind of concept, right?
Sure.
Maybe if you're more willing to adapt to that, or if you're already predisposed to feel that way, right? Then you fit in well.
Good point.
And I also wonder if like if you dive in to a particular hobby, right? Because that is the thing that strikes me about that culture, from anime to automotive to architecture, whatever it might be. They're very, very focused on doing one thing and doing one thing incredibly well and just repeating it until you get it perfect, right? And so I wonder if diving into an anime centered culture over there helps develop that friendship, lets you, get to see that person's interests at play, right? Like I bet if I moved over there and was willing to go out at 2:33 in the morning to, partake in the car scene, I would at least make friends, I think, within that circle. Maybe they're not going to be best friends on the level that, somebody I would have grown up with since I was 12 years old in the US.
Right.
But it's a way to bond and see something tight, as opposed to just hoping that people are just, going to congregate together.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That's definitely, for sure. It's one of those things like, and two, you put this sort of thing in a person's head and then they go over there and you sort of start feeling it, whether it's there or not,
Sure.
planting those seeds.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And right, like you see, Mike, sometimes people are waiting for things to fall in our lap versus like that effort that's sometimes required.
True.
So.
True. By the way, Mike, you should know that I in no way am qualified to be an anime animator, nor have I ever done that before. So I wouldn't like hang I wouldn't put all your eggs in my basket like for your family.
I think Mike wants to put any of his eggs in your basket. I don't know.
That's probably wise. Probably wise.
All right. I mean, we could get you there. Listen. If we practice,
I would still
2.5 hours a day.
I'm decent with Yeah. I mean, I could practice. I could learn. I do like art, and I've like done a fair amount of like art in my life, but I've not ever done anything professionally. Or I'm sure I don't know. I'm sure all these. How do they? They don't hand draw. I mean, they have to use. I'm sure computer programs, right? I don't know anything about that stuff. So
manga.
I mean, it depends what you want to do.
Well, sure. I guess manga is. Yeah, but.
But a lot of people do. A lot of people still draw on like an iPad or a Wacom or a Cintiq or something like that. So then you're still hand drawing something, but you can create it in layers. Or even if they'll even someone might draw with a pencil or something like that, but then they'll still might draw in layers, so you can scan it in and still work with your.
Cool.
Work with it digitally.
Do you have a Wacom?
Get one of those and get something like that. It's just for playing around with it.
Dude, Phil, this one. What was this brand? Yeah, Huion. It's like a Wacom knockoff, and it was like I don't know, $120 or something like that at most. Cool. It might have even been less. It might have even been like $70 or something like that. It doesn't have the graphic built into it, right? So the thing that I had to get like used to, and that is still a bit of struggle, is like looking up here while my hand is down here, right?
Sure.
That's a little weird. And I've seen a lot of like professional graphic designers now. They've gone away from this style, and now theirs is all on screen, right? So that you don't have that disconnect. But you can you get over it quickly. So if you're interested, if you like that kind of thing, you should give it a shot.
Yeah. Okay, cool. A Wacom is like
that's a lot.
$600. So geez,
that's a lot. I wouldn't do that to find out if you like it. Find out if you like it first.
Yeah,
if it was me and I was going to get into drawing, I would just start with paper.
Oh yeah,
I'd go with. And if you want to get serious about it, I see a lot of people using iPads. If you go to any con and you go to Artist Alley, and you see people like all their stuff that they've done or whatever. They're just sitting back there and they just have their iPad and they have the little like grip they put on the Apple Pencil or whatever. And some of them put like a different kind of matte piece on top to make it feel a little more like paper.
Sure.
And
cool. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Powerful.
Cool.
Speaking of someone that has like does it all, the drawing and the story, Tatsuki Fujimoto is the creator of Chainsaw Man, and he also did a number of like shorts and different things before that. Well, I had no idea this was happening. I read the manga this last year, and now they have a film of it. It's called Look Back. And it's in Japan at the moment in theaters and doing well. So, yeah, it's a more, it's not shown any at all kind of thing. Right.
Sure.
It's is a small kind of personal sort of story. And I'm surprised they made it into a movie, but I am interested to see it now. It is coming to the United States.
Oh, cool.
This year. So I'm hoping, let's see. It's made $11.43 million at the Japanese box office so far.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
nice.
What did Borderlands make? And The Crow?
Very little.
Borderlands.
I don't know what The Crow did, but
I don't think they made 11.3 million combined.
Well, and I guarantee, I mean, the budget for Borderlands is insane.
Oh, I'm sure.
Crazy budget. I mean, the cast and, the effects and all that stuff. So, yeah, I think they're talking that maybe being one of the biggest flop ever. So, it's a little unfair to compare, but yeah.
Well, no, I mean, it is, but like the money you make is the money you make. So are you saying this is made 11.3 million? But at the box office, so we're not talking about, net. And Borderlands didn't make that even, net.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not going to. I don't know that it made it gross. So interesting.
Yeah, no.
I would
Can't
see
imagine.
This.
Yes, it's
good.
Cool.
Well, I'm hoping it comes here when I can see it.
Is it coming to theaters or is it coming to Crunchyroll?
I believe it's coming to theaters.
I imagine it'll be both, right? Probably.
Yeah, I would think so.
Oh, we should go.
Let me just look it up quick.
Pretty cool.
Because I did see that story first. Look Back, North American theatrical release this October.
We should go.
So I'll probably be in the field, but we'll see. October 4th. So
pretty cool. Yeah. I think that's also the day that Dawn to Dawn drops. So I'm just going to sneak that in there.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can find a time. John, you're not in the field 24 hours.
I mean, a lot, though. It's like that and sleeping, I think.
See here. It's drawn on a big screen.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's a personal story. It is about art. And stuff,
cool. So. Well, dude, Phil, we're definitely going. All right.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
It's going to inspire Phil to become the great mangaka Phil. The great mangaka Phil sensei.
I think this is the whitest guy who has ever written a manga, I think, possibly. So,
dude,
no, they're locked indoors. They probably are getting pretty white.
They probably like that, actually. Isn't that a good thing for them?
Maybe.
Like, it's like, or is that old culture?
No, that still exists. Yeah.
Okay.
You're a laborer if you're tan.
Right.
So.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I just meant like the least Japanese person who's ever written a manga, or are there people who write manga that aren't Japanese? I mean, or not? I mean, are there American manga artists? They can't be, because then it wouldn't be manga, right? Because it's not a Japanese.
No, I mean,
creator.
It's it's just like everything now. It's a world market. I don't personally know of any, Caucasians that are big manga artists or something like that. But like, there's a composer that did the score for the Violet Evergarden and for Frieren now. He's amazing, and he's just some dude from California or whatever. And I think he kind of, made a name for himself, moved to Japan,
It's cool.
got recognized, and now he's scoring anime. So
sweet.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
Write what you know. Maybe you make a manga about the whitest guy in Japan.
Yeah. Well, that's where webtoons come from. That's where in the States, that's where webtoons comes from. It's the idea that really it comes from Korea wanting some element of the manga industry that they've been envious of and haven't had. And but for us, you see a lot of creators that they grew up with anime and manga, and they want to tell their own thing, and it's the easier way to do it. It's like if you want to be a musician, well, you can go through the channels and try to get to the record deal, or you can just start singing on YouTube, and put your music on a streaming service. Like, that's webtoons. So
fair. Yeah, all right. Well, I'll think about it. Why not? Gotta have dreams.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not going to have time, I'd say, to EFAP the Terminator trailer.
Probably not.
I wanted to fap with you guys.
I told you that sounded dirty, John.
I mean, when I first heard about it, I thought it was basically, a slang for digitally that, I don't know.
Getting off on it.
I know the definition now.
Yeah. It probably is. Yeah, it probably is. Yeah.
So maybe it's a double entendre.
How about do we have time to EFAP to the new Sonic the Hedgehog trailer, though? Ooh. Shadows up in the house, y'all. Shadows in. But it's going to be sick.
I believe it.
I'm actually really excited.
The Sonic movies are in better shape than the Sonic games are at this point. And I have enjoyed both Sonic movies at this point. And the third looks good now too. Keanu Reeves is Shadow.
Yeah.
Of course. That's awesome. So
nice. Cool.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
Is it possible to EFAP quickly? Because maybe we could just EFAP quick through Terminator and the Lord of the Rings anime coming out.
Okay, well, I'm gonna pull it up so then we can, we can have it here. We won't have audio.
You're edging me? Seriously?
Yeah. Yep. That's what's happening. No, you're looking forward to it. So let's see. So this trailer came out for Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim. I don't know anything about this. Does anyone know where this story? I mean, I get the idea of the story here. I think it's a creation of Helm's Deep.
Right.
But how faithful are they being to this? How much is detailed in Tolkien's work is what I
don't know those details. I just know it's like significantly prior to the Lord of the Rings, the events of Lord of the Rings, obviously, but
yes,
like, kind of like not ancient maybe, but like back in the histories of the land of Rohan,
Yep.
I think the main character is Helm Hammerhand, and that's who makes Helm's Deep and makes I'm going to blow the horn of Helm Hammerhand. I mean, it's like, so he's like a historical figure to the Rohan, people of Rohan. So I know it's old, but I don't know much more than that.
Yeah.
Good question. That's all good questions.
Did you get to
right there.
the like king here? Yeah. I mean, all I have to base it on is like, hey, Peter Jackson's involved. Philippa, it's the team, some elements of the team that brought us Lord of the Rings. movies and the Hobbit movies.
Yeah.
And it's in that continuity. So like it's supposed to fit in with that.
Versus the Rings of Power.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I have the art to go off of and
looks cool.
This trailer.
Right. It looks good, I think.
I'm so wary of anything Lord of the Rings these days, but you know, I want to be like, oh, Peter Jackson's involved, of course.
Yeah.
But a lot of people aren't super big fans of the Hobbit movies.
True.
And then I've learned that you can't just, because someone made something great once, does not mean they will do so again.
True.
We saw this with the return of what's his face to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
You know, he did not bring things back. And then someone else too that was a really good example, but it's just no guarantee.
Sure.
So
yeah, you know, if you guys want a slam dunk, excellent animated feature film in the J.R.R. Tolkien universe,
the Hobbit movie, that's you can tell me.
Look no further than Rankin and Bass's The Hobbit from 1967 or something like that. You guys have seen that? Yes.
I haven't. I own it though now, and I mean, I've heard from many people that it's good, so I don't.
Oh, I love it. That's just like right in the childhood. Yeah. Oh, Mike.
I have not. I've seen clips. I think from you guys. I've seen clips of it.
It's so worth it. It's so good. It's excellent. It's really well done. I mean, it's like old animation, but like just the wispies of like Gandalf's pipe smoke and stuff. Oh, it's great. It's lovely. Some great songs in it.
I will absolutely watch it sometime. I know we talked about covering it on the podcast. At some
Maybe
point.
we need to watch it sometime together, John. Next time we can hang out sometime.
Sure.
Because I would love to watch that. I made Chris and Andrew watch it once when we were all in college, and it was really fun. This looks like a long trailer. Why is this so long?
Yeah, it is. It's 2:25.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I definitely will give it a shot. Definitely has potential.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think so too.
We shall see. Mike, I know you love fantasy stuff, but how big or not are you into Tolkien's world? Or is that not really what's your entry into your love of fantasy type worlds? Mike? Oh, can you not hear me? Phil, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. I was waiting for Mike to say something. Can we do the camel? Mike.
No, go ahead, guys. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm listening in on this one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll move on to the next one then here.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be cool. I mean, we'll see, but I think it's gonna be sweet.
Yep. All right. Terminator. Oops.
Ooh, boy.
I don't know if you probably can't hear that sound, I'm guessing. Yeah, this is the not safe for work trailer.
Right.
And you have no context for Terminator things, so
correct.
I don't know what I'll mute it being you can't hear it anyways.
No. Yeah, Mike, I was telling John earlier before you hopped on that I've seen 0 things in the Terminator universe. Just shocking to a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a big deal. I mean, a lot of people consider Terminator 2 one of the, if not the best action movies ever. So I think that's fair to be surprised that you haven't seen it.
Yeah. So these look like you are showing, like this is the EFAPing because it's that you're actually like playing it. Or no?
I mean, look. Normally, I would play it with sound, and we would I'm still skipping ahead here, so this is a very expedited, lazy version.
Got it. Okay.
So, because I mean, Mike, Tony, and I covered the 1 minute teaser F-Zero and went for like 45 minutes on that.
Oh. Fair enough. This looks cool too, though. Oh boy. Oh geez, a lot of stuff happening.
Well, Terminators,
this has never been a thing that I thought I would want to see.
Yeah, to me, I'm done with Terminator, right? Like I don't need more. They kind of to me, it's like the first two were very good, and kind of I don't need anything else. Yeah,
sure.
But
like what new areas there to tread? Is that kind of you're saying? Like it's been done. It's done.
I always wanted to see, just live in that world of the dystopian future. I like that stuff.
Sure.
But like I was saying before, I just feel like they're worried about doing that. We're always in present day trying to avert the crisis of the future. And I think the exception to that is the one with Christian Bale. So that's the one I should watch. But it's like it didn't do that well. So I guess they didn't continue down that path.
Sure. So you're saying that the people in this universe should just like live with their lot in life? Like stop trying to go change things. Just like try to survive in this dystopian future. It's the best you can do.
No, it's just as a storyteller, you have to like shit or get off the pot. Like, what are we going to do here? Are we going to have, we're going to have 6 movies where every time this time it could be different. We'll save the future or whatever.
Sure. Sure.
That's always what it feels like. There's always a Terminator coming back. We always had to stop the Terminator, and we're going to try to, course correct.
Sure.
That's fine. But like, it's one of those things, like make it so we're victorious and we prevent that future from happening, or don't. And then we have to come back from the brink and we have the stories take place in that future.
Sure. Gotcha. Okay. It'd be kind of like if the Avengers just never defeated Thanos and like they just kept trying movie after movie after movie or something.
Yeah.
That'd be annoying. Yeah, I could see that.
Rosario Dawson, Timothy Oliphant. So that's good. Some good cast there.
Yeah.
August 29th.
Well, that's coming. Oh, that's
2 days.
That's on Friday.
What?
No, on Thursday. Yeah. Perfect timing. Okay. Well done, John.
Yeah, I had no idea this was coming that quickly.
Pretty timely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we lost Mike there.
Yeah, some technical issues maybe or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, good stuff. Lots of stuff to look forward to for sure. Fall's going to be fun, I think.
Yeah. Well, now I'm gonna like manage Elusive Samurai, wrapping up My Happy Marriage. I'm supposed to get through Delicious in Dungeon yet.
Oh, sure.
And now Terminator Zero is starting. Like, what am I going to do, Phil? How's that going to work?
I mean, I think I got in the fall. I mean, you're gonna be on the field soon enough. So, well, just don't sleep. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then, right. It's unfortunate that Mike is gone here now, but we're going to show his YouTube real quick.
Oh, good call. Yeah,
we
for
leave.
Sure.
So, see here. So firstly, you should follow Mike on Instagram. He's got some really cool photography that was done recently of his car and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So, that's worth taking a look. And then, let's see. Okay, I'm going to play this. It's
whatever you do it for less. At heart.
I don't. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, how's the sound there? I have it up pretty high here.
I can't hear it on my end, but I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it might just be a little quiet.
Maybe.
But anyways, Track Mouse 34 on YouTube. Make sure you check him out. He
cool.
Did a really, I think he said he beat like the track record at
Nice.
this place he just went to here. So
Awesome.
yeah, he's been doing stuff with Grid Life. He couldn't make it to wherever this last one was, but it went to this other place here, and yeah, it's his car is like all reworked this year and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So he's really getting a hang of, learning how it's gonna perform and stuff. And I know he's been dealing with some steering problems, but yeah.
Cool. Those videos are awesome. It looks super fun. It looks like a video game.
Yeah. Yep. So make sure to check that out. And then that should be about it. Make sure follow, like, share, subscribe on all the places. This will go up to our podcasts and Popcast on the Rocks. So if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, check us out there. On YouTube, you can have it separated on either Popcasts on the Rocks YouTube page for our regular episodes, or Ohio Anime for our anime specific ones. And we'll be back next week for sure to talk about Mad Max on the regular show. And then maybe Terminator will be worth it, or Elusive Samurai, that we can kind of get a couple episodes doing, the first 5 episodes of this show or that show or something like that. So.
This sounds cool. Yeah, we still have to do free run, by the way, but
I know.
I mean, at this point, it's just it's really good. People should just watch it. And what else there's?
I'm gonna wait for Andrea on that one. I don't want to rush her through it.
Fair enough.
So it's on the list to talk about sometime.
Yep.
So
cool.
Yep.
Good. Well, thanks for having me on, John.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you for joining